What's up, guys? I'm LQ. This is the LQ Review. Thank you so much for joining me right here at my YouTube channel. This is where we talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that we love to talk about. Movies, video games, comic books, and TV shows. And after a long wait, a long wait, over a year, episode 1 of Loki is finally dropped. So I got to watch that and want to talk about it. But first, I don't think we can talk about Loki without first acknowledging that it is the third MCU Disney Plus series. And the first ones, for me, have been a bit of a mixed bag. I loved WandaVision. I thought WandaVision was innovative. I thought it was funny. It was so... WandaVision was so good. Meanwhile, for me, Falcon and the Winter Soldier just didn't really work. I found it to be kind of dull, kind of boring. I felt that the main two guys, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I felt that they were outshined by all the people around them, and that's a big problem when all the people in your show is more interesting than the main people. That's an issue. So yeah, it's been a bit of a mixed bag for me. While I put WandaVision up here, Falcon and Winter Soldier, for me, it's down here with Thor the Dark World and Iron Man 2 and just The Incredible Hulk. It's just down here with the worst of the MCU. So, Loki. The first episode of Loki was, let's just call it like it is. It was really weird. The first episode of Loki was really weird. Now, it did pick up immediately where he left the Avengers after the Battle of New York. And then he ends up in the desert, and then the TVA, the time variants, they come in. The time variants, what is it? The time variants, I don't know. They're like the police of time. They come in and they basically arrest him and they take him back to the time variants headquarters, I guess, and they process him. Meanwhile, you've got Owen Wilson, who seems like he's a kind of like a special agent working for the TVA. And there's a time variant out there killing time variant police. And Owen Wilson's trying to figure out how to stop this person. Meanwhile, we go back to Loki. Loki is being processed. He doesn't have his powers. And really what we're doing in this episode, first of all, he stands trial. And then Owen Wilson's character comes in and he's able to kind of get Loki out of his guilty verdict, and he kind of takes him aside to talk about options. You know, what can we do with you? And really this first episode is very much a dive into the character of Loki. You know, he starts off with the arrogant, boastful, prideful, I'm burdened with glorious purpose Loki. And then through the course of this first episode, he learns a lot about himself. Specifically, he's shown his future. You know, he's shown, you're a time variant. You're not supposed to have picked up that Tesseract and disappeared. You were supposed to live on. Go to Asgard, go to jail, get out, help Thor. Essentially fake your death, come back. You know, your mom was supposed to die, and that was the big one. He got to see his mom die. And that, you could tell, had a big impact on him. But not only that, he eventually sees his father die. He eventually sees how his relationship with Thor has progressed, and ultimately he sees his own death at the hands of Thanos. And he's able to kind of really look inward. He definitely looks at himself, and he starts to understand himself a little bit more by having this weird, strange privilege of being able to look at your life from the outside. That's what he did. He got to look at his life from the outside, understand where he was at that point, where he ends up, and be able to kind of understand his evolution before it happens. And that led to a lot of pretty quick and immediate growth on his part. we end up in a place where Owen Wilson and Loki, they're going to team up to take out this time variant that's killing to the TVA. And Owen Wilson says, it's you, Loki. It's another version of you. So that's kind of where they left this episode. Was this episode something that was filled with explosions and action and all that? No, this is actually a very slow episode. As far as 1 hour episodes of TV is concerned, this was very much a slow burn. But I also felt like it was worth it because it lent to our understanding of this character. If you watch this episode, at the end of the episode, you will understand Loki better than you ever had. And it's ironic because we're just rewatching. A lot of this episode is just reliving things that we've already seen in the Avenger movies and the Thor movies. But we're able to see them through the eyes of Loki. And at the end, he comes to terms with himself. You know, when I hurt people, when I commit violence, it's a way of masking my weakness. And he even goes as far, I am a villain. You know, he calls himself a villain. And Owen Wilson's like, I don't see you as a villain. So we're definitely going to have these two working together to take out what is actually a villain. Now the question is this actually a different version of Loki? Or is it Mephisto? I'm sorry. I mean, it might be, right? It could be. I mean, nobody said it's not Mephisto. So yeah, this first episode was very much a slow burn, not a lot of action, but it was very well done. Just the acting of Tom Hiddleston and really Owen Wilson as well really just sold this episode, and it really made me get on board with the whole idea behind the time variants and the whole mission that they're getting ready to go on. You know, there was also some fun nods in this. You know, I remember in the trailer when we saw Loki doing the DB Cooper thing, everybody thought he's gonna go on time heist. He's gonna do all this stuff in time, and all the stuff that's unexplained is gonna be because of Loki. Nope, it's not what it is. It's not what it is. It was a bet from Thor. It was a bet from Thor. I don't know these these fan theories. They get so crazy sometimes, but yeah, it was a really good episode. I loved kind of the 50s sci-fi vibe that this thing had. Like the technology they were using looked antiquated, but it wasn't. And that was also a lot of fun to kind of see the antiquated nature of the technology play out in technology that's far more advanced than anything we have. I also find it fascinating to see Owen Wilson's character popping in and out of different points in the timeline. Like he's able to just hop into any point in history. And that's cool as well. Honestly, it reminds me a little bit of Vanishing Point from DC Comics. I don't know which one came first, the TVA or Vanishing Point, but either way, you know. So very good first episode. I'm definitely on board with this. You know, I'm far more on board with this after the first episode of Loki than I was after the first episode of either WandaVision or Falcon and the Winter Soldier. WandaVision ended up being real good, Falcon and the Winter Soldier not so much. But the fact that I'm more on board with this after the first episode than I was with either one of those, that says a lot. So I'm really down with Loki. Can't wait to see where this goes. And even though it's been a bit of a even though it's kind of lacked action, I don't think it's going to stay that way, because I do think they're kind of teeing up some big action sequences that'll be coming. So that's my take on the first episode of Loki. What did you think of it? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your take on it. And while you're down there commenting, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. I put out a lot of content, and I want to make sure that you're up to date with everything that I'm doing. And as always, thank you so much for joining me right here at the Loki Review, where we get to talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that we love to talk about. And until next time, we'll see you guys later.